ancient Roman gods can help you remember the German words for the days of the week, and I'm going to tell you how in this video. But let's start off with the basics. First basic is day. Every word ends with day, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In German, the word for day is Tag. And most of the German words for the days of the week do end in Tag, similarly to English. Now, what are the days of the week in German? Let's go over it. Sunday is Sonntag. Monday is Montag. Tuesday is Dienstag. Wednesday is Mittwoch. Thursday is Donnerstag. Friday is Freitag. And Saturday is Samstag. Now you know the days of the week in German, but how are the Roman gods going to help you remember these? When it comes to the days of the week, the history of Great Britain, where English started, and Germany are really intertwined because they were both part of the Roman Empire. And this empire was huge at the time. It stretched over much of Europe and was very, very powerful, a huge cultural influence at the time. And the Romans decided that they were going to do this thing where they would have a 7-day week. And I'm not going to get into what was happening before. That could be a whole other video. But they decided to do a 7-day week, which is said to have happened because the cycles of the moon last 7 days. And they named these 7 days after the 7 planets you could see with the naked eye. The first 2 were the sun and the moon because they counted those both as planets. And then you had Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn. I think we have all of them. And that was it. They named them after these planets. And some of these planet names also referred to gods. So you did have a god named Mars, Jupiter, Venus. So you ended up with all these days that were basically named after gods, and people would adopt those names in different ways in their different cultural regions of the Roman Empire, depending on their language and culture. So in Great Britain, with the English language, there was a very mixed cultural influence. If you look at the map, Great Britain is just kind of across the ocean from the Nordic countries, which were not a part of the Roman Empire, but they were still influenced by the Roman Empire because they were so powerful. So the Nordic countries also kind of adopted this practice of naming the 7 days of the week after gods, but they gave it their own twist. And the English names are a combination of these Nordic names and the Roman names. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. Germany was not so much. Germany was mostly focused on the Roman naming convention. So how did that work out with the days of the week concretely? So let's start with Sunday, the day of the sun. In German, it's Sonntag. And this also translates directly to the day of the sun because die Sonne means sun and Tag means day, Sunday. Now let's move to Monday. That is the day of the moon. So moon and day, Monday. You can see where it comes from. In German, Montag, the word for the moon is Mond. So Montag, Montag. It works out. Tuesday was a little trickier in both languages. Tuesday is the day of Mars, who is the god of war. And in the Nordic languages, the god of war is called Tyr. So in English, they started calling it Tuesday, like the day of Tyr, Tuesday. You can see how that happened. In German, it's Dienstag, which sounds markedly different. But actually, the Roman god Mars, his full name was Mars Thinksus, and for some reason, the Thinksus is what was focused on in the German-speaking countries. So, Dienstag, because that TH and the D, it's not much of a stretch. At the beginning, it makes a similar sound. So it's Thinksus, Dienstag, 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 Dienstag. Makes sense. Ha! My name is Mars Thinksus, and I bring you Dienstag. I feel ill-equipped for this. Then we have Wednesday, which is the god of Mercury in Roman mythology. And Mercury is the most powerful god. He's the god of warluck, the god of royal power, the god of rune power, the god of wisdom. He's very, very powerful. And in Nordic mythology, his name was Odin. Or I've seen Woden as well. So Odin Day, Wednesday, the day of Odin. Now, in German, for some reason, they did not name it after Mercury. They just called Wednesday Mittwoch, which translates directly to middle of the week. You have Mitte, middle, and Woch, week. Mittwoch. Logical, but doesn't really follow our God pattern. Then we have Thursday. Now, in Roman mythology, this would be the day of Jupiter, who is the god of thunder and lightning. In the Nordic mythology, that's the god Thor, who's also the god of thunder and lightning. So that's how the English version became Thursday, Thor. And in German, it's Donnerstag. Now, Donner also means thunder and lightning. So the day of thunder and lightning is logical.
I'm a spin, I'm a baller, take a deep breath. I'm a shark, you 7 days a week, I'll be up all night, day and night.
I'm Thor, I give you Donnerstag. I love this job. Then we have Friday. Now Friday is, in Roman mythology, the day of Venus. And Venus is the goddess of love. Venus is Odin's wife, or, Mercury's wife, whichever name you're using. So Venus is the wife of Mercury, goddess of love. And in Nordic mythology, her name is Frigg. So in English, it ended up being Friday, the day of Frigg. And in the kind of the Germanic part of the Roman Empire, this same goddess was referred to as Freya. And so that's where Freitag, the German word for Friday, came from. Freitag. So that's goddess of love. Who doesn't love Fridays? And now you know why. And you fall in love, and you fall in love, and you fall in love. Then we have Saturday, which is the day of Saturn, the Roman god Saturn. And it's pretty obvious how that became the English word Saturday. In the Nordic countries, they had a word for Saturday that meant the wash-up day, because I guess everyone washed up on Saturday. Makes sense. So in English, it ended up being Saturday after the Roman god Saturn. And in German, you get this expression Samstag, which is derived from the word for Sabbath, because Saturday is the Jewish day of the Sabbath. And that Jewish cultural influence was very powerful at the time. So that's kind of how it ended up. So that brings us to the end of the list. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or if you have a better idea for how to remember the days of the week in German. See you next time. Tschüss!